basically, the reason I'm here, we're talking about self-branding, correct? And I actually started off in a branding agency in Saudi when I moved back from GW. I started as a content developer, so I worked very closely with creative directors and working with brands and helping communicate those brands out into the market. And from there, what I realized was that media was super important. And one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to help change the branding of Saudi Arabia. And so I started seeing that trend, and as you can look from the numbers, we spend a lot of time online. I mean, I'm sure half of you guys are not even paying attention. No, I'm kidding. You guys are probably on your Snap or your Instagram right now, or WhatsApp. So, I mean, we basically saw that people were spending a lot more time online than reading the old school print. And you guys, again, I can share this with you guys later. I'm trying to go quickly through this. And this again, showing the different platforms. We saw that Facebook was really strong with videos. When it comes to content, product placement was Instagram. I mean, this is actually quite updated. This is January 2016. So it kind of has changed. I started Niche again 5 years ago. And what the result was is that I started Shoes and Drama. Now, Shoes and Drama came up because I started looking at what were the big online influencers around the world. And so you had people like Blonde Salad, you had Man Repeller, you had Brian Boy, you had all these kind of fashion influencers, and they weren't just people, reposting stuff or taking press releases and showing again. They all had their little, again, niche. I'm gonna keep saying that word and driving it in. But it was all about basically finding a voice. And so with Shoes and Drama, we decided that we were going to be the drama behind the fashion. And it was also about for example, I met Rick Owens, and I mean, he was such, I don't even know what word to use, but he was not a pleasant man. And, and I wanted to kind of share those insights, where you guys might see it as, he's a talented designer, very avant-garde, but, just when you speak to him and kind of getting all of, again, that drama behind the fashion. And so that's where we kind of found our niche. And we also started positioning ourselves as the anti-blog blog. So, I'm 30, and for me it was like, I don't care what a 19-year-old is wearing and about her outfit post. I mean, even now, if I look at Instagram and I see a girl wearing a Fendi bag, I'm like, I don't want that bag. I want the bag that she doesn't have. I want, I make my choices based on what people are not wearing on Instagram, because I don't want that free thing that they got, or and I'm sure you guys are like nodding your head, right? That's kind of how it works. So again, we really looked and did market research and just, really got a lot of opinions about these people, our potential customers, and what they were looking for, and that's how this started. Now, one of the things that we do with Niche Arabia is one of our biggest strengths is influencer-only activations. Basically, a lot of brands come in here and they're like, okay, we want to do something, we want to reach the Saudi market. And it's quite hard with, just cultural sensitivities here. So some of the things that we do is, especially in Jeddah, when it comes to, let's say, Jeddah, the girls like to show themselves. I mean, here, I'm sure you guys know some of the names. Aram Kabani, she's one of your alumnus. You have Halal Harthi, you have Ola Faris. This was a Versace dinner I hosted at my house. This one was with MAC. It was the first ever MAC activation we did. We had all of the beauty bloggers attending. We flew Miba Flowers from Khabar. And the idea then was to engage these girls and create creative activations and stuff. So that way, it's not just about, I'm a blogger, come into the store, please buy. It's 30% off today just for this preview. It's not about that. It's creating a relationship between the brands and the end consumer. So with all of these things, like when we did the Versace dinner, it was talking about your first emotional attachment to jewelry. For me, it was about, seeing my mom, with her rings and saying, okay, I want all of those. And and then growing up and, wanting to be like Elizabeth Taylor. When it came to MAC, we started talking about contouring and, tattooed eyebrows. And I mean, do we really like that? Or are we just, saying it's nice because Kim Kardashian does it? We really tried to create a dialogue and create something, unique. With Louboutin, we did an activation in a private home that was all about, flowers and springtime. And, the girls got to make flower crowns. This is when Lana Del Rey came out, so it was like really kind of, the trend. And then we actually did these things as well in Riyadh, and even talking about Riyadh and how that's such a different market. When I work with influencers there, they don't show themselves. They're quite private. If a girl has a public account, she's not really an influencer to that market, that target market. So even just working within the kingdom, it's quite unique. These are some of the other activations that we've done, kind of our award-winning stuff. We actually just won, Mercedes-Benz won Best Event Participation in Saudi Design Week, which is something that that Niche helps out on. We do the sponsorships, we do the creative activations within the Saudi Design Week with our brand. So the idea here, the objective was to target the millennial And Lexus, oh my God, that's really bad. Mercedes-Benz has a positioning of high-end luxury. People have that that perception that it's quite expensive. So we wanted to kind of make it hip and cool again for the younger millennial. Again, that 25-year-old Saudi. And so what we did is we had Dad's Store, who are graffiti artists, come in and spray paint it, and then we had Ibrahim Basha and Aziz bin Fahad and a few other influencers come and take selfies, take Instagram shots and Snapchat, and it started trending on Twitter. And that car actually went around to all around the kingdom, and again won best event participation from Mercedes-Benz internationally. Burberry was something where the client was telling us how they had, they have Porcelain, Burberry Porcelain, and then Burberry Brit. When you guys think of Burberry, what do you guys think of? The what? Sorry? The coat, the trench. Okay, great. What else? The scarves and that plaid, right? That horrendous plaid. They wouldn't appreciate that either, my client. But no. But so the idea was that how do we elevate Burberry Brit? I mean, how do we get people from stop thinking of Burberry as just this kind of mass, brand? I mean, I always talk about, mass luxury. Louboutin to me is mass luxury. Everyone has it. You talk about, it's different than affordable luxury like Tory Burch or Tiffany's. It's still luxury. It's still expensive, but then everyone has access to it. And so with Burberry, what we did is we did a private screening. It's called Runway to Reality, the day after the fashion show happened in London, and we had Christopher Bailey, do a video, and thank the hostess. She was a princess in Riyadh, and thank the Saudi female. So it was really cool. It was customized. It was a message directly to us, and we had these like iPads, and we flew in people from Milan, Marbella. I mean, basically all the cities, London, where we go during summer break, and come there with their iPads, and they could order the items and get it within 5 weeks. And we set a record sales. We even beat sales in Shanghai, so we're really proud of that. The other thing that we did was with Swarovski Elements with Harvey Nichols Riyadh, where we basically had them support, I think it was 20 different Saudi designers, and we had a huge activation, which was one of the most successful that Harvey Nichols has had. The foot traffic was really high, people were really engaged, and again, it was Swarovski working very closely with these Saudi designers to understand what their insight was, what kind of needs they had when it came to manufacturing clothing. The last thing that, one of the other things that we did is, we look at numbers, right? So we're always about what kind of return on investment do we have. One of the things that we did, which we're really proud of, is with Amna Group, which is also another alumnus from your school, the Sideri family, and they have Life and Sid concept. And what they were doing is that Life, if you go into the Life store, you'll realize that you're not able to go in there with 200 riyals and actually purchase something substantial, right? It's still streetwear, but it's high-end streetwear. It's brands from Paris, like Surface to Air, all these really unique fringe brands. And so what we did is we got a designer that had that kind of clientele, Omar Ashur, who I think has also spoken at the school a few times, who had a good database in terms of his clientele, this established businessman. And then we got Life, which is really kind of street and young and casual. And we did a cross-marketing thing where we had him make thobes specific for Life. And these were exclusive. So then he was inviting his database, we were inviting our database, and he was able to target a younger audience while we were able to target a more sophisticated, let's say, clientele. So this cross-marketing really worked. And within a month of our digital activation, we increased sales by 58%. Okay. I'm actually going, how much time do I have left? Do I have a lot of time? Okay, well, I'm actually going to start off first with the assignment or with the workshop, little exercise that I'd like you guys to do. Currently, we have a store called Life and Sid. They have both of their stores under the same umbrella, so this is kind of our biggest challenge yet. They're doing an opening on the 22nd, and we are tasked with the responsibility of creating an activation that would appeal to both audiences. So my exercise to you is to come up with a concept. Right now, you guys can sit in groups and talk amongst yourselves about how to do something that would attract both the Life consumer and the Sid. Now, I'm just going to give you some background. Now, Sid is a female-oriented evening wear concept. So your clientele is about, I would say, 20 to 40. And she knows the brand. She's very sophisticated. Price points are quite high. And then you have Life. Life is, this says Kanye is my homie. It's kind of more like your, again, Surface to Air, each by each other. Life is a joke brands, very street, very casual. And this is, and it has a huge men's section. So now we have the men apparel also introduced into that. So I wanted you guys just to kind of look, and this is the brief, and these are the things that I want you to think about when you come up with this exercise of things that you need to do. One is brand awareness. So they have, they've been in the market for years. I should know how many exactly, but it's been quite like almost a decade, I'd say. And so it's now about extending beyond their database. They want to have consumer acquisition. The other thing is brand positioning. Now, it's an eclectic mix of brands that are aligned with the current trends of the Saudi market. And this is a really big hint, guys, right there, Saudiya style. They really want to target the local Khaliji style. It's not about, copy paste of what you're seeing from other influencers around the world, but really making it something local. This is kind of a hint, okay? And the last thing is sales. So in this activation that you guys are going to be discussing, I'd like you guys to think about how to draw in foot traffic and create the right audience. One of the things that is a big concern is that, I'm sure you guys have seen it in Saudi. You have one blogger who's, she's really pretty, she's really cute, and all of a sudden she's the brand ambassador for, let's say, Chanel. And then the next week she comes along and she's the brand ambassador for Colgate toothpaste. And then the next week she comes along and she's the brand ambassador for Dior, a direct competitor for Chanel. This happens a lot with jewelry, and you'll see that. And so, for us, one of the things I want you guys to think about is getting someone, if you're looking at, let's say, having an influencer or doing something digital, think about someone that's aligned, because you are, like, as an influencer, you're also a brand. I've given these talks before, and at the end of the talks, I have like Kenzo coming up to me in Ralph Lauren, and of course I'm really flattered. I'm like, yes, but you know what? I never wear Kenzo, and I never will wear Ralph Lauren. I'm waiting for Lanvin. Hopefully, when they come up to me, I'll be ready. But so you have to also think about themselves not diluting the brand and not associating yourselves with too many other brands. Okay? So if you guys want to take a minute, or if you guys have questions. Yes, so sit and let, that's the challenge. So basically, it used to be two separate stores. They're right next door. But what they did is they're opening in Roshana Mall, and it's under one umbrella. And in this umbrella, it's like, so you walk in and you'll see like the cashier says Life and Sid, and you go to the right, it's Sid, you go to the left, it's Life. And it's very, look, in terms of price point, it's quite equal, but they're completely different audiences. One is for the kind of, laid back streetwear. The other one is for the more the sophisticated fashion girl that wants to wear skirts and dresses, just like, Razana Lazuni style, that kind of thing. So it's a very interesting way of, of approaching this. I definitely think they need rebranding. No, kidding. But no, they definitely need to kind of position themselves in a very smart way. So we have an activation that we're going to be doing with them, but I want to see how it compares to your ideas and what you guys think. Again, 25 to 40 for the women. And then for Life, I would say you're going 16 to 30 max. And look, they did an activation before for Life where they had this, the graffiti artists, they had hip hop artists. But I think about it. If you went to, let's say Ibrahim Basha, one of these guys, hosting something, or Qusay, one of the singers from, Arabs Got Talent, would you as a female feel comfortable going? Like, would it be, wouldn't it just be a bunch of boys there? Maybe that would be nice, but I don't know. No. You know what I mean? It's about like what's going to appeal to both audiences.
The celebrity can go also go with fans.
Sorry?
If like an Arab Got Talent, celebrity comes, then girls can also
go. Yeah, for fans, for sure. No, but look, that's great, and I do think that we should have people coming in. That's good for foot traffic, but does that equate in sales? There was a client of ours that used one of the top bloggers. And the item that she was selling was for 3,000 riyals. Everything in that store is about 5,000 and up. And they were like, oh, it was amazing. We had so much coverage. Everyone came and they posted selfies. It was great. And I was like, that's perfect. How much did you guys sell? 0. Because those girls coming in were saving their allowance and they were buying that thing for 3,000 riyals. They were not able to purchase, the Saint Laurent and what other brands that were in there. So again, you guys have to think when you're communicating about your brand, it's not just, depending on the objectives, okay, this is what I'm saying, we do want sales, but whether it's how to communicate it and how to position it. So sometimes just exposure doesn't equate into good brand positioning, good communication. That's what I was trying to tell you. If you have an influencer that has endorsed, 15 different brands, yeah, I get it. She has, 2 million followers, but what does that mean? Does that really where I want to communicate my brand? Especially again, sorry, all of this is about the luxury market, so that's also another reason. We work with P&G and Unilever, but we try to stick to just their beauty products. Go ahead, yes. Sorry? Why do they have high prices? Well, I think now, sorry, I'm just coming. I think nowadays you do have affordable luxury segment, and that's actually the biggest one. One of the things that we talk about when we consult with brands is that, okay, in Saudi, you used to have girls that would, Baba would buy them a Birkin or a Chanel, or any of these kind of things. And I mean, that's an issue here, and so that's one of the things that we try to work around is how do we attract you guys? How do we, basically communicate the branding so that it's interesting to you guys? It's not just, again, about doing the same things over and over and copy pasting. When it comes to your brand, whether it's you yourself, as an endorser, as an influencer, or as a company, it's very important to realize that you're actually getting a return on investment. It's not just about, okay, getting that exposure. Sometimes that exposure is negative. As I said, I mean, there was a study with the University of Colorado where they took what was it? It was a vacuum, sorry, and they placed it next to Jessica Simpson. And they were like, okay, if Jessica Simpson had this vacuum, would you guys buy it? And the consumers came back, the focus group came back saying, no, we wouldn't, because she's known as an airhead, it seems that it would be faulty, or it just had the wrong kind of, connotations together. But then they put a shoe next to her, and they're like, okay, would you buy this product now that Jessica Simpson's endorsing this? And right away they're like, yes, we watch Fashion Star, we love her, and she has a great fashion line, and she's an it girl. So that was a positive kind of endorsement. And so it's no longer just about, getting someone that has the reach or the brand with, it's really about the, aligning them correctly. And so that's where this kind of exercise is coming. One of our big things, one of the things that I really want as your takeaway for this is to know that the market is always changing. And so the way you communicate your brand should always be evolving with it. I mean, we always talk about logo and branding, and that's something that, consistency is always key. But when you communicate those things to your end consumer, that's also something that changes. I mean, before it was all about putting stuff in print ads and having that kind of communication, and now it's all about digital. I mean, now when I talk to my brands, they're always like, Marriam, I need a blogger, I need a fashion blogger. And I'm like, listen, in Riyadh, it's not about a fashion blogger or a girl that's on Instagram. It's about the it girl that's going to all the weddings, that's going out to the social scenes, and they're not taking pictures and they're not showing themselves. So I mean, you always also have to have that market research, knowledge of what your audience, is into. I mean, we had one girl that in Riyadh decided, she's one of our VIPs, she always is invited to these parties, so she already has access. And so people were following her, and it was like, her cousins and her sisters, and I mean, her friends and family, which, are our key audience. And the moment that, she posted a picture of her in a private jet, people were like, oh my God, that's so nouveau riche. Like, she must not own it. And then right away it started, things started trickling down. And then, oh no, it's public now. Even though she doesn't show her face or anything, that for them, it kind of seemed as if she was trying too hard. I mean, and that didn't resonate well with the Riyadh audience. Whereas in Jeddah, they don't like a picture when I've just posted a picture. I have to be in it. Like, people want to see me there, not because they like the way I look, but it's because it's proof that I was actually there. It's not just me reposting something and pretending that I was there. So I mean, it's even about knowing the way that people are going to absorb that content once it's released out. And yeah, and that's pretty much my takeaway for you that I wanted you guys to know. Anything else? No? All right, thanks for having me. Thank you guys.